Hello guys, welcome back to the Cobra YouTube channel. I hope everybody is listening to the government's advice and staying at home and keeping safe. I hope the intro didn't scare anyone too much, and today I'm going to be bringing you the review for Resident Evil 3.
There's so many.
In here! My God. No! They're gonna get through!
Send somebody who's capable of getting me the hell out of here.
What was that?
Taboo!
Kendo, you're all right.
You're all right to stretch.
Stop and do what? I got your back. Go! Go!
Cloak sticky. You better hurry. Sorry.
Look out!
Let's do this.
Now, Resident Evil 3 Remake is a survival horror game developed and published by the legendary Capcom. It is a remake of the classic 1999 game Resident Evil 3 Nemesis, and follows Jill Valentine and Carlos Oliveira as they attempt to survive a zombie apocalypse in Raccoon City, all while being hunted by the Umbrella Corporation's bioweapon Nemesis. The game is out now for Windows, PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One. The game also has a new multiplayer mode for the series called Resident Evil Resistance. As always guys, before I start with the review, please hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and also please hit that alarm bell button so you get notified anytime I post a new video. That would be a great help guys. For those of you who have never played the series, the story is set in September 1998 and it takes place 2 days after the outbreak. You take control of police officer Jill Valentine as she attempts to escape Raccoon City and the zombie apocalypse which is caused by an outbreak of the s.t.a.r.s. During the game, you will be hunted by an intelligent and very scary bioweapon known only as Nemesis, who will not stop until Jill and the remaining members of her s.t.a.r.s police team are all dead. The game also follows Carlos Oliveira, who was hired by the Umbrella Corporation to help any of the survivors left in Raccoon City. Let's start off by talking about Nemesis, who I found to be slightly less of a menace than Mr. X was. In the original Resident Evil 3, I remember Nemesis appearing way more and hounding you a lot more too. Apart from the great opening section in the city where he chases you around, I then felt he was just relegated to jump scares, set pieces and a few boss encounters. I still got those shivers down my spine whenever he showed up though. I just thought that he would have been a bit more relentless throughout the whole campaign and not just at the start of it. But I still very much enjoyed him terrorizing me again after all these years.
Brad, is that you?
Listen, you gotta get out of there.
What are you talking about?
I don't have time to explain. You gotta get out of there right now.
All right, let me grab my... What the hell is that thing? What the hell? No way.
I really liked Raccoon City, which for me was a much more enjoyable location than some of the areas in the Resident Evil 2 remake. It was cool seeing all the flickering neon signs, burning buildings, the roadblocks, trash cars and overall devastation caused from the outbreak, which gave the city this real feeling of dread and despair. And then there is the graphics, making everything look super smooth and crisp with loads of detail, especially on the zombies, making the game look even better than 2 did. And it really shows the power of the RE graphics engine Capcom have been using of late, and I'm a very big fan of it. And I cannot wait to see how Resident Evil 8 turns out. Character-wise, I also really like Jill and Carlos way more than I did Leon and Claire, who for me they came across a bit too wooden in the last game. I just thought together Jill and Carlos made for a much better team and had a much more exciting and better written script here. The character models are also a step up. They look outstanding and even more lifelike than the already amazing RE2. I must also say that the villain Nikolai, who was played very well, and I also enjoyed the part he played in the story. A new feature is Jill's new dodge roll, which when pulled off correctly was a real lifesaver, especially in the more open areas. The thing is, it felt useless to me in the more confined places, and by the end of the game, I felt that pulling off a successful dodge roll was more down to luck rather than skill based. But Jill does actually get the very handy lockpick that only gives her access to certain areas in the game. Carlos, on the other hand, gets a new shoulder barge instead of a dodge move, but I found this got me into more trouble than anything else. But he does get access to a very fun assault rifle, which is loads of fun to use to mow down those zombies with. And speaking of guns, they are all here just like in the last game, and they all felt quite good, with some guns sounding better than others. And like before, some of them you can upgrade to help you with the more tougher enemies later on in the game. I felt like there was way more ammo lying around and resources to be found this time round, making it a little less survival horror and more action style horror. But I didn't mind this, as from what I remember, the original Resident Evil 3 was also the more action based of the prior 2 games. And if you like taking out zombies like I do, then you will be happy, as there is way more of them here to take down this time round. Resident Evil 3 is not all just about zombie killing and running away from Nemesis. Puzzle sections are also back here, and I felt that there was a lot less puzzle solving here than the prior games. And I felt that the puzzles were not as challenging as well as the prior games, which might upset some of you puzzle fans out there. The puzzles are mostly about finding certain items to open certain areas, but that could be a good or bad thing depending on how you feel about puzzle elements in games like this. You also get the usual collectibles like the files and the bubble heads, and certain other challenges that you get throughout the game that you can complete to then get more upgrades. The map system also returns from Resident Evil 2, and thank God, as I thought it works perfectly. The map clearly highlights the areas you have been to and the ones you have not, and most importantly, it shows you the things you may have missed or the things you need to find to progress the story. It also helps with backtracking for items or collectibles and finding your general way around the game. It just saves you a lot of head scratching, which can happen with some other in-game maps that we see in other games today. Campaign wise, the game is not very long. It can be finished in around 6 hours if you take your time, and it can be finished way quicker for those speedrunners out there. There is even an achievement for finishing the game in under 2 hours. Also, if you're a fan of the post content from Resident Evil 2, then I'm afraid you're going to be quite disappointed here, as there's nowhere near as much content as there was in the last year's Resident Evil 2. Sadly, there's also no New Game Plus, but there is a shop that you can access after completing the game, where you can buy bonuses like extra damage and regenerating health with the coins that you find throughout your travels. And then you also have the harder difficulty playthroughs, but that's pretty much it. But then I guess at least there is the new multiplayer game mode, Resident Evil Resistance. Here you play a 4v1 mode where groups of survivors have to work together to kill zombies and find several keys which will allow you to escape the Umbrella Labs. I was actually surprised by this mode, and I really did enjoy the games that I played and thought that the game structure was actually quite well done. There is also a nice variety of survivors to play as too. Some are better at close combat, while others are more support class minded. Getting a mixture of both in a team made for some real exciting gameplay, and I was quite pleased at how this game mode turned out actually. And it was a nice little bonus for when you finish the main campaign. The Resident Evil 2 remake was my choice for the best game of 2019. Now, although 3 does not hit the highs that 2 did, it is still a fantastic game and brought back some great memories of playing the original. As much as I like the open areas, I did find it worked much better when it stuck to the Resident Evil 2's more claustrophobic and puzzle solving gameplay. But to be fair, like the original Resident Evil 3, the game was much more focused on action than caution, which in turn creates a much faster and gung-ho approach to the game, which I really still loved. I just thought it lacked some of the variety and the much needed endgame content of last year's Resident Evil. But don't get me wrong guys, in the end I still really enjoyed my time with Resident Evil 3, and although a bit on the short side, it was still an absolute blast to play through. So I'm going to give Resident Evil 3 an 8 out of 10. It's not quite as good as Resident Evil 2, but it is still a fantastic game in its own right, and Capcom continue to show everybody how remakes should be done. And of course, don't forget to subscribe please guys. I'm almost at 200 subscribers and I'm really proud of where the channel's going, and that's all down to you guys. So I thank you guys from the bottom of my heart, and I hope that you continue to support me. Hit that like button, hit the alarm bell so you get notified whenever I post a new video. Thank you again for watching guys, and I will see you guys on the next video. Take care of each other, stay safe, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye.